wanted to do in preparation for Dead Reckoning a checklist. This is like what you need to see or you are expect to see out of a Mission Impossible movie. It's like similar like James Bond, he's gonna like order a certain drink, he's gonna drive a certain car, he's going to be interacting and like having relations with like ladies. And now we have expectations for a Mission Impossible and Ethan Hunt. So Ricky Flex, let's make a checklist. What do we know we're going to see in some type of form or fashion in Dead Reckoning? I think we should go one for one, right? Because I think we could just list these on the top of our head. Things that can like literally you can go back to 1996 and you can like rally all the way to 2023 and say this connects all of these films and makes them distinct. I'm going to start with one of my favorite things in this espionage franchise. It's the self-destructing dissolving tape. That is so sweet. And I think that's very distinct to Mission Impossible, right? When it has that dissolve, the beginning of Fallout, we're going to talk about really like it says, we're on to the next mission, baby.
Yeah, that's iconic. And kind of going off of that, it's also the intro credits, with the match. You light the match, mm-hmm. And then it's dun, 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 dun. And it says usually first and foremost a Tom Cruise production.
Yes,
it usually does ever since Ghost Protocol. So I think to go along, just kind of chronologically speaking or time sequence speaking, that's another like Mission Impossible staple. Boom.
100%, and such an iconic theme. And I think it's totally hijacked like the 60s TV show, and it's totally made itself its own. And it's like you hear that, you associate Tom Cruise just doing something that is going to have his life on the line, right? Some type of stunt that's doing that. I'm going to also say staple, masks, and staged sets. That is always going to happen one time in a Mission Impossible movie. The mask probably multiple times, but having that set up for one of the or like the lesser known villains, and then Tom Cruise just going go and them taking down the sets. That's how you know you're in a Mission Impossible movie. But yeah, the mask looks so much better in these movies and like the Fallout stage era, the 4, 5, 6, and now 7 Mission Impossibles than like 1996's Mission Impossible. It is so clearly Tom Cruise wearing an old man suit in 1996, and they just figured it out. It's just, this is what I'm talking about. Like, these movies they look better with age. It's hard to watch 1996 and say, like, this is the same franchise in a lot of different ways. But the way the mask is pulled off now, I love it. And a lot of times it's now associated with Simon Pegg's character rather than Tom Cruise.
Yeah, and it's funny because Simon Pegg, I think it was Ghost Protocol. He was like, why don't I get to wear a mask? And then now in Fallout, he was like, why am I always the one that has to wear the mask? Mm-hmm. It kind of flipped on its head. It's an inside franchise joke. So that's a good one. But another one, there's always a woman introduced or something like that is never like deep enough development between Tom Cruise and her, the relationship. But it's like enough to like get you going in an action movie. If you think back to Mission Impossible, the first one, it's Claire. 2, it's the girl from Westworld. 3, it's his wife. Ghost Protocol, it's the new girl that had her boyfriend killed in the beginning of the film. And then Rogue Nation, it was Rebecca Ferguson. Like in this one, it looks like it's going to be for Dead Reckoning. It looks like it's going to be Peggy Carter.
Haley Atwell, yeah.
Well, it's always like someone that's like not like they're not going to go too deep into it, but there's always some sexual tension there a little bit. But Vanessa Kirby, a little kiss in this movie. Like only 2 scenes or 3 scenes with Cruise. That's it. Like not too much development, but we have a random kiss scene. We just have this random relationships with Tom Cruise, Ethan Hunt, and women.
And that's the thing. Like James Bond, like they'll show him taking a girl to bed. And Ethan Hunt, he'll never have sex in one of these movies. There will never be a Mission Impossible sex scene.
He's too tired from jumping out of airplanes.
Like, I think we learned not to do any more like Tom Cruise sex scenes after Top Gun Maverick. We're like, we can't do this anymore. Like,
don't take my breath away.
And it just doesn't always have the great like chemistry with like the female lead or supporting actress. That is the love interest. And it's all about the mission. And that's like, oh, Tom Cruise approaches his movies. It's not about the romance. We are here to watch cool shit. And that's what I'm here to accomplish and give to the audiences. So I couldn't agree more. There'll be some love interest that he won't like dive deep into, but you'll feel that tension a little bit. 100%. That's a good one. You're going to get, how about obtaining missions through secret passwords? And you teased what Fallout was. I think it's such an awesome way to start this film. Guy knocks on the door, and the guy just says, "Fate whispers to the warrior." Tom Cruise goes, "A storm is coming." And then the guy says, and the warriors whispers back, "I am the storm." It is, when you have that, it's the same thing with the lighting of the match. Song goes on. Okay, yeah, we're rolling, right? And that time when he has that type of line, it's just, yeah, let's go. Get this thing going. And it's such an electric way to kickstart these movies.
So electric. And another electric thing that's always in these movies, Tom Cruise absolutely sprinting for at least 20 seconds in a scene. And this one has like the big, like a London sprint run trying to get Henry Cavill, Walker, John Lark, always running. And you got to respect the stamina and the running scenes, because he's not like, he's 60 years old now. He was 57 while filming this. You just got to respect Tom Cruise going all out for us.
He could easily just like steal a car. You know, he can just like jump on a motorcycle, rip someone off of it and like track it. But it's like, no, you want to see Tom Cruise run. Tom Cruise knows we want to see him run. And it's a staple of the franchise. We're going to see him run for 10 minutes of the goddamn movie with ultimate stamina. We're going to see him break his leg. He's going to hobble around just like almost like a John Wick and then keep going, you know? And then obviously you could say, like we talked about, the big event, the big stunt that's coming. That's also in the checklist here. A double cross. You're going to get a double cross every single movie, especially this is where it's like where you have like these big name actors that join late in the franchise. You're just assuming they're going to turn bad. Just like Henry Cavill, when he was cast in Fallout, we're like, well, we got our new villain. And then it's like here, Haley Atwell, she's on watch. She's on watch as a double crosser. Pom Klementieff, also on watch, but I think she's actually going to be like, she's really dressed super weird in the trailers and she's wearing like a mask and she's really exotic looking. I think she's actually going to be an ally if I had to make a prediction here for Tom Cruise. Vanessa Kirby is still like a mysterious type of character. You don't really know where her loyalties lie and if she's going to be on Cruise's side or not, but you know you're going to get a double cross, and that is ingrained in the DNA of this franchise.
A good double cross always works in these spy thrillers.
Always gets me.
It does, and you see it coming, and you knew. And like I'll talk about this with Cavill later on. Like a gripe I have with this movie, like you see it coming. But it does work. It just always works.
Usually stunted. Like usually you find out through the face mask reveal. That's like usually how like you figure out the double cross. Like, oh, we got him again. They'll never learn.
Yeah, I forget what the Simon Pegg line is, but it was like playing off of what he just said. Like, oh, it's just the job. Yeah. It's just the job. Like you said. But something that's kind of on the, like going with that is the plot. The plot is always just like, oh, we got the apostles from the syndicate with 3 plutonium balls that we could just throw around. And then we always have, and then with the team, it's always the team first. The team first. Like, even though they say like in the message, like, oh, if you die or whatever, like the government and the president will not say who you are. Like, will basically say, we don't know you if you get caught, shit, like stuff like that. Here it's like, oh, we have a crazy plot that you might not totally follow one for one, but you get the premise, end of the world type stuff. It's a Mission Impossible movie. And usually it involves also a little trick where it's like, oh, Ving Rhames, like we kind of have to sacrifice him, and that's the expectation, but we don't do it because Ethan Hunt doesn't sacrifice people. Even though the IMF, that's their whole thing. That's the difference between like the CIA is that they're more ruthless. They're crazier. They do the bigger stunts. They are end of the world type of jobs. That's the IMF. But it's just like, wait, Ethan Hunt's different. He's not he is the IMF, but wait, he doesn't follow all the IMF's like core rules. It's just so weird. And so that's just another thing there. Just a weird plot.
And that's always established like from the get-go that like he goes against the grain compared to the rest of the IMF, meaning an Ethan Hunt. And like, yeah, he'll throw some bad guys out of a helicopter door, but he ain't killing cops. he'll never kill cops. You know, like he has a moral standard, and that's why it's like good when we talk about Fallout. Why I think Henry Cavill actually worked really well against Tom Cruise's Ethan Hunt. I was going to bring up something else very quickly, but I think it's escaping my mind. I think when you talk about the plots that are explained, you have to understand the Mission Impossible franchise, where it's like you like if someone has never seen one of these movies, they're going to be focusing so hard trying to follow all those different like topics that you're talking about or subjects with the apostles and like whatever, CIA, plutonium, all this crap. But like it's okay to zone out during that time. Like who cares? Like it's just like
it is okay.
Let's just watch Tom Cruise intently stare at this screen with like a map that has 8 red spots on it, and then him say, "Got it." Like that's all we need, and then we're off and running. We're gonna get past this. You just gotta like suck it up for like a minute and a half, 2 minutes, and then we're off and running. That's what I got for the checklist. It's a pretty good list. I think.
Yeah, there's other small ones like I need an evacuation code 87911 code Bravo, like random ass words, and it's like, got it. Like the other person's like, got it. Be there in 2 minutes or something like that. It's just a secured line,
right?
Stuff
exactly.
Like that. Little stuff like that.
And as we like continue to like preview Reckoning, Dead Reckoning, is there anything like moving on from the checklist that you are really anticipating, or you like we obviously know like we're jacked up to see Dead Reckoning. We're reviewing Fallout right now, but is there anything like you want to see differently from this franchise, or do you want to just see it like keep having them play the hits?
So something I'm so happy you brought this question up, because this is my biggest gripe with Mission Impossible is it's almost the same every single movie, where it's either Ethan is getting framed for something, or it's he has to save someone on the team, okay, while saving the world, right? And this one in Dead Reckoning looks like it's going to be the same thing, because he was saying we don't make those choices where you like sacrifice one of the members of the team. He goes, we don't make those sacrifices and stuff like that. It's in the trailer. So I'm like, crap, don't just rerun Fallout. Like, don't redo this. Like we can do a little more. Like I said off the top, like I know it's not James Bond character study, even though they do kind of like, you know, they brought back Michelle Monaghan, like the last movie, his wife or ex-wife, I should say. You know, she'll probably be in this one somehow. They still try to do a little bit of development for Ethan Hunt, even though we don't need it. We really don't.
Mm-hmm.
So what I want them to do, which I don't think they'll do, is kind of veer away from what they've already done, like the major plot points. You know what I mean? Like, I think it's kind of repetitive.
Yeah, they definitely like. We understand as an audience, we don't have to know the ins and outs of everything about Ethan Hunt. We don't have to like have this like psychological study of Ethan Hunt or a case study of him. We just want to see him do cool shit. That's why we're here. And that's what we're going to talk. We're going to talk about Fallout. Like they try and have a little bit of emotional depth, but I think ultimately it does fall short. And ultimately it's like, why did you have this in here in the first place? And like, it really feels like, wow, like first scene, end scene, you have Michelle Monaghan, you're like, wow, was this supposed to be like a huge part of like the motivations of an Ethan Hunt in this movie? Because she wasn't brought up for literally 2 hours of the film. But yeah, I'm excited for this. I can't wait. I can't wait for Haley Atwell. I can't wait for Palm Clementif. These going back at it. Kittredge also back for Dead Reckoning Part 1.
Love that.
Early Mission Impossible.
Kittredge.
I can't wait to just see the one-on-one interaction from that, just because it's been forever since we've seen him in this franchise. But it also goes with what you're saying. They can't let go. Like they'll bring up something from like Mission Impossible 2 and like bring it back to like these last few movies just because they want to show you those movies still matter. They're still a part of this lore, even though you could just show somebody 4, 5, 6 and they'd be like, we get it.
Exactly. Yeah. And I think here, breaking up Dead Reckoning 2 parts, because again, that wasn't like the first thing. It was supposed to be just Dead Reckoning. They're like, no, let's make 2 movies out of this. It's going to be interesting to see how it's going to evolve into a part 2. Is it going to end on a cliffhanger with Simon Pegg getting kidnapped or a death? Like that's
I think it's going to end literally with Tom Cruise hanging on a cliff,
or I would hate that, to be honest.
A literal cliffhanger.
I think another possibility is like they lose, like a smallpox outbreak does happen in India, China, Pakistan, and now they're like have to avoid the next one, or like World War III or something. I could see that, and that would be a good twist. I would like that. They actually lose. That's pretty interesting.
That's that. I mean, if we've learned anything from part ones and major blockbuster franchises, like it's gonna end not in favor of like the protagonist. Like, come on, have we been paying attention the last couple of years?
Right, right.